All right, and we're joined by Greg Remmenga for another segment of free legal advice. And today it is a Halloween version because we want to get a little serious and talk about some things that people need to be aware of and be careful of.
Well, the first thing is all of the kids are going to be very excited. There's going to be a bunch of kids out, and a lot of the costumes have limited vision.
Right.
So the obvious first thing is we need to watch them crossing the streets. Any driver needs to be very, very aware of where the kids are, what kids are doing, because even if you don't end up being legally liable, let's just avoid the tragedy. We don't need to say, oh, I don't need to pay attention because I might not be legally liable.
Sure.
So let's just avoid the tragedy. The second one is because all the kids have costumes on, they're excited, and everybody likes to decorate. We have lots of slip, trip, and fall hazards. Your extension cords, the kids could trip over those. Any of the decorations out in your yard, pay attention to those so the kids don't trip on those. Because those types of things you would end up being more liable for because it's a dangerous condition on your property.
Right.
One thing that people haven't thought about that I've seen a lot of is like the fog machines. If it gets real cold tomorrow night,
that's not something you think about
the fog machines
right away.
are going to create ice, the kids are going to slip, and there could be a real serious incident. And the final thing that I don't think has been talked about very much this Halloween, as far as I've heard, is check all of your kids' candy. We have to be very careful. We don't know exactly where they got the candy or what those people are doing. So if there's opened candy, something that looks not quite right, just look at it before your kids get into it.
And that's the scary part about that is you can't necessarily track that down. You don't know where that candy actually came from.
You can't, and so it's just something to look out for. If it doesn't look right, there are so much candy that kids will have.
Yes.
Getting rid of a few that don't look right isn't going to hurt anything.
That's the best thing to do.
Yes.
And so people can limit their own liability. If somebody is on their property, obviously they need to be very, very careful, like you said, with their decorations, hazards.
Tape stuff down, get it out of the way, be aware of the traffic patterns, make it so that they aren't going to trip over things, make sure that things aren't slick, just all those types of things that you wouldn't want your kids tripping and slipping on. Make sure those aren't around.
Some common sense stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. A lot of really great advice. Thank you so much, Greg.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. All right, stick around, guys, because Jordan Sherman is live from Stute's Pumpkin Patch again with his full forecast coming up after the break.
If you want Greg to answer one of your legal questions, visit krextv.com, click on Live in the Studio, and submit your question on the right side of the screen. Watch Greg's segment every Wednesday on News Channel 5 at noon.